very captivating stories. Without wasting any more time, हनीफ साहब, मैं तो जब मुझे पता चला कि आपका नया नॉवल आ रहा है तो ऐलान करती फिर रही थी हर जगह। मैंने ये महसूस किया कि लोगों का जो इसके ऊपर रिएक्शन था जब बताते हैं, पूछते हैं टाइटल क्या है, तो मैंने सुना कहीं रेबल इंग्लिश एकेडमी, तो मुस्कुरा देते हैं। सो आपको कैसा लगता है व्हेन पीपल स्माइल बिफोर दे हैव इवन स्टार्टेड रीडिंग योर नॉवल?
आवाज आ रही? Yes. So thank you Absa for doing it, and thank you everyone. लोग तशरीफ लाए तो मुस्कुराते हुए लोग तो सबको ही अच्छे लगते हैं, कभी कभी बेवकूफ़ भी लगते हैं कि बगैर पढ़े मुस्कुरा रहे हैं, तो पता नहीं उन्हें सब तो मुझे लिखने की ज़रूरत क्या थी, इनको पहले ही पता है कहानी। बट या नहीं, मेरे तो मैंने जब बताया तो कोई मुस्कुराया नहीं, तो आपको देख के शायद लोग मुस्कुरा रहे तो बट या इट्स ऑलवेज अ नाइस फीलिंग, को झूठ बोल के भी तारीफ करे तो अच्छा लगता है। वी ऑल नो दैट।
अगर स्टार्ट करते हुए आप कुछ किताब का कुछ हिस्सा पढ़ना चाहें ताकि एक टोन सेट हो जाए, और उसके बाद फिर हम इसी नॉवल के बारे में बात करेंगे।
जी, जैसा कि अब्सा ने बताया कि नॉवल स्टार्ट्स विद अ वेरी फेमस हैंगिंग। जो मेरी उम्र के लोग हैं उनको याद होगी, जो हमसे छोटे हैं उन्होंने सुना होगा। एक हैंगिंग हुई थी, सो इट स्टार्ट्स विद दैट हैंगिंग। सो आई रीड द ओपनिंग चैप्टर, थोड़ा सा मैं आपको पढ़ के सुनाता हूँ। On the night of the hanging. On the night of the hanging, everything is as calm and orderly as it should be in a jail devoted to the safety and care of one very important man. All prisoners but one are asleep in their cells, restless, dreaming of their victims or their loved ones, which in most cases are the same people. The Rawalpindi sky is clear and full of stars. All the talk about omens is rubbish. There are no meteor showers, no storms snowing on the horizon. The sky is not going to shed tears of blood. The earth is not about to split open and swallow its wretched inhabitants and their grief. The man who is awake has asked for a safety razor, claiming that he doesn't want to look like a mullah in death. After consultation with the superiors, the jail superintendent has sent for a barber who shaves the man gently, making sure to clear the fuzz from his earlobes. The man asks for a cigar, and jail superintendent doesn't need to ask for his superior's permission. No man who is about to be hanged in 3 hours and 45 minutes has ever tried to kill himself with a Monte Cristo. The jailer makes sure to light it himself. The man chews on the cigar, takes 2 deep puffs, and regrets it, thinking maybe he should have quit when he had the time. The man asks for his Shalimar perfume, sprays himself, and lies down on the floor. A mosquito buzzes near his ear. On any other night, he might have called in the jailer and given him a dressing down for infesting his prison cell with poisonous insects. Might have accused him of being a tool of the white elephant, his favorite invective for the United States of America. But tonight, he just shoos the mosquito away half-heartedly. Listening to the rising and fading whir of its wings, he is grateful for the company. Everyone agrees on the above events. Those who wanted to hang him, those who wanted to save him, those who wanted a martyr in the early morning whose blood could help them bring about a revolution, even those who were indifferent, all agree up to this point that the man lay down on the floor, pulled a sheet over himself, and stayed still, dress rehearsing being dead. Although everything was still and orderly in and around the cell where an about to be hanged man practiced his death pose, there was activity, quite a lot of activity around the country in some crucial spots. Many would later say, especially journalists and diplomats who made living out of exaggerations, that it was the longest night of their lives, that they knew something historic, something catastrophic was about to happen. But only those who had been woken up without warning with a degree of rudeness would remember this night when their own time came. An imam was hauled up from a small room adjacent to a small mosque and ordered to get ready to lead the funeral prayers of a very important man. One of the world's sturdiest planes, a C-130, was on standby at Rawalpindi Air Base to ferry the body to the man's village. A military truck, followed by 6 machine gun mounted jeeps, made its way towards the airport with some sleepy, some alert soldiers, their commanders wondering why a dead man needed so much protection. Elite say elite, even in their death, he thought. Some soldiers sang a tea jingle, Chai chahiye, kaun si janab, shut up, barked the commander, we are on VIP duty. A caretaker at village graveyard was asked to start digging a grave, and when he asked what size, he was slapped. Your own size, he was told. Thank you.
तो हनीफ साहब, अब लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि हाउ मच इट हैज टू डू विद योर ओन मेमोरीज ऑफ 79 आफ्टर द हैंगिंग. इज इट अ फिक्शन अराउंड दैट इवेंट, या फिर इसमें कुछ हकीकत है जो आपने उस वक्त ऑब्जर्व की?
आई थिंक हैंगिंग तो हकीकत है, उससे तो हम में से कोई भी यहाँ पे कोई भी कमरे में होगा वो डिनाई नहीं कर सकता. But yes, thank you for asking that. My own memories, I was a child, and or I'm sure we are all here because we've been to school at some point, and we remember our school days. And you know that when you're giving an exam, or aapne sara ratta lagaya hua hai, and you think that this is the exam, and the exam will end, and we will come out of the examination hall, and there will be an endless party. The life will be like so careless and so carefree. So I remember that moment. I given my exam, मैंने बहुत रट्टा लगाया था, और so you gone to your examination hall, 3 hours का अभी भी होता होगा, and you're kind of completely consumed doing that exam, and when you come out and you are hoping that your life is about to begin. So I remember that the streets were completely deserted. Urdu mein se kehte hain hoo ka alam tha. So that was the first time, like in my life, that I'd seen so much fear, but also a lot of excitement for some people, and so much speculation that has this happened or has this not happened, because we didn't have sort of live TV or social media, and thankfully it wasn't live cast. So at those times people still had suspicions that what exactly has happened, and I didn't know anything about politics or how Islamabad runs. I still don't know how Islamabad runs. So thank you. So yeah, there was a lot of confusion for a young boy, that what the hell did just happen, because you didn't know who the man was and who hanged him and why did they hang him. So there was this why is the world, that when you come out of an exam hall, you are expecting the world will change in a better way because now you're free. And it turns out, no, something else has happened. So I think that memory had stayed with me as a child. So that is like the starting point for the novel. But that's the novel starts when after we're done with Bhutto Sahab, we've killed him. So it's not about his life or his achievements or his failures. So let there be no confusion about that.
और ये जो जिनने पढ़ लिया ये किताब, उनको ये महसूस भी हो रही है आपकी मेमोरीज की एक झलक मुख्तलिफ हवालों से. ओके टाउन, मैं इसमें बहुत इंटरेस्टेड थी विद अबाउट द नेम. ये इसके पीछे क्या सोच थी?
नहीं, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी कूल नंबर प्लेट. लाइक ओकाड़ा की मतलब जो सबसे मशहूर चीज़ थी उसके, तो हमारे like very agrarian society. एक तो हम आलू बहुत पैदा करते थे, जियाले बहुत पैदा करते थे पंजाब में, और we had like cool number plates, like okay something something. So people from other cities would come to our city to get their cars registered there. So what happens in the novel is, let's stick to the novel and not offend either. So on the hanging night, obviously a single person can't do a hanging. Have to be other people. So there's a young captain uh, who has a duty to carry out on the night of the hanging. And he fails that duty. And because our institution is very, very disciplined, as we all know. So when you fuck up, you're punished. So this young captain is, as a punishment, he's posted to OK Town. So can I read a little bit from
Yes,
when
please.
he kind of comes to
Yes.
OK Town? Yeah.
Please.
Yes. So he's a young captain who's a very junior officer in an intelligence unit, in the smallest intelligence unit, and a punishment posted. And he's after messing up his hanging night, he's posted to OK Town, which is a very kind of according to his ambition, it's a very dull, boring town, and he also considers himself as a man of the ladies. He's a sort of what they used to call like a lover boy. He thinks that everybody in the whole world loves him. So this is like his first night in OK Town. Captain Gul had opted for intelligence services after a brief and eventful stint in the Armored Corps in this very cantonment. He joined the Field Intelligence Unit for excitement and adventure it promised, but here he is, awake at 6 in the morning in the dullest of cities to a ruckus of birds he'll never learn the names of. Bed tea already on the side table, a wake-up call from his pregnant girl in Pindi asking him what he did last night, him trying to remember where he was, and indeed, what had he done last night. He had seen ghosts while driving into OK Town, silhouettes of men behind curtains of dust, moving slowly. Then he had realized they were just sweepers sweeping the dusty roads. His car had been stuck behind a tractor trolley, the trolley carrying a bloated load of sugar cane and greedy children clambering over it to pull out a few. Green fields he had seen, full of mustard flowers, and then these fields had given way to a hillock of rubbish where donkeys roamed and munched on garbage bags. The gate at the cantonment had opened to reveal a familiar world. White lines in the middle of the road, whitewashed flower pots and tree trunks. He had smiled and remembered the military motto that if anything moves, salute it. If anything is still, paint it white. He also remembered that this is where he was given the nickname Lieutenant Piston. After a late morning raid on his bachelor's quarters, when he failed to turn up for duty, his commanding officer was repulsed and impressed when he found him passed out and counted 5 used condoms on the floor of his room. What are you, a man or a piston? The commanding officer didn't quite know what punishment to give him, so he was shamed into celibacy for a few days. After a few weeks of bumbling games of tennis and Friday prayers, he slipped back into his routine of picking up the local phone directory and dialing random numbers. If a female picked up, he told her his rank and how he was bored in the trenches, ready for martyrdom, but still bored, and waited for the magic to work. When life changes, you change your life coach. So what if the Pindi girl claiming to carry his child, his superiors, even his parents hadn't noticed? He still believes he's a changed man since the night of the hanging. In his mind, Captain Gul is on a path to reform. No long-term relationships, no promises of marriage and children, get in and get out, no poetry of his youth. Before embarking on his down, he had burned his personal code book, where he meticulously noticed his exploits and his lovers' code names. Jaws was the nurse who liked her nipples bitten till there was blood. Indian bullshit, a religious studies school teacher who liked to play dead during intercourse. Fire brigade, a married beauty and mother of two who had set his room's curtains on fire when she was stable. It was all behind him. He was going to do things differently from now on. He thinks about what to tell his pregnant girl who is 200 miles away, asking searching questions about what he had done on the first night of being back in OK Town. Searching for an answer, he reaches for the quarter of Murray gin lying under his bed. Two swigs, and then with the clarity and confidence of an intelligence officer who has just taken his first field command, he says he'd read Reader's Digest. And did she know how long snow leopards can survive without food? Without waiting for her to reply, he tells her that he had had bad dreams about their unborn child and was now sure that he didn't want to name her Shabnam anymore. He was bad at naming things anyway, so she should go ahead and choose. Did you miss me in your dream? Like a snow leopard misses winter, he says, and gives her a long, smoochy phone kiss, which he believes to be his speciality. Duty calls, he sends her mother, I am off to work kiss, intending to put the phone down. He doesn't want to start his day with unsolvable problems. He can hear her heavy, pregnant breathing, her anticipation, her silence asking him to say something more. Captain Good wants to say he wasn't sure he was ready to be a father, and maybe they should explore other options. But he isn't ready to say that yet. It doesn't sound manly. Maybe tomorrow. His assistant, the only other member of his field intelligence unit, walks in, a man with scraggy red hair and a grey rectangle of a mustache, slight but strong built, square face, the face of a professional torturer, someone immune to pain. Subedar Lal Khan is carrying car number plates, OK786 or OK302. He holds them up one by one. Captain Gul is still trying to remember what had happened last night. He looked at his assistant, confused. What's that? What number plate would you like to go with, sir? He says. These are car number plates. Captain Gul can tell a car number plate when he sees one. Last one took OK007 with him, but I think it brought bad luck. Now he's organizing tea plantation drive in Ahmedabad. It's too flashy, not really suitable for an intelligence field commander. The captain knows immediately that Subedar Lal Khan is trying to assert his authority, like old, faithful, hand-me-down servants do when they meet their new master and want to make them dependent on their judgment. Gul chooses to ignore him and coos into the phone. Promise me one thing, he says. You will whisper my name to her after every prayer. But we don't know I knows these things.
Also, there's our character Baghi, who actually runs this Rebel English Academy. He's also a very complex character with his ideology, even sexuality. You've explained it in a very nice manner. So please tell us about Baghi.
Bali is a teacher who runs an English tuition center. I think most of you are here because you can understand and read some English. I think that's why, otherwise you won't even be able to spell or find black hole anywhere. So that's why we are all here. That's one thing that's common between us. So he runs he's a reformed revolutionary. He used to have people who wanted to bring about a revolution, and they were beaten up to pulp, and then they found other jobs. So like I think in Islamabad they found NGOs, but in small towns they found tuition centers. So he runs a tuition center where he kind of जो गरीबों के बच्चे होते हैं उनको अंग्रेजी सिखाता है. उसका ख्याल है कि इस तरह से इनकी ज़िंदगियाँ बदल जाएंगी और सबकी ज़िंदगियाँ माशाल्लाह बदलती हैं ऐसे ही. अंग्रेजी सीख के. So he's one of those, and he's also like in Pakistan. I'm sure you know that we know it's quite common that uh, a lot of people who are married with children, but they're also like are homosexual. But sometimes you'll come along somebody who kind of says that, oh, no, I'm not going to do this hustle. It's convenient. I'm not judging anybody. That he's kind of stuck in that principled revolutionary mode that I'm not going to have a family and I'm not going to have children. So he's an to some extent, he's like a compromise, but in other ways, he's like an honorable, principled man. He's kind of still trying to do what he thinks is necessary to change the society, whatever people used to think in those days. And we have all those characters, I'm sure, पता नहीं इस्लामाबाद में बहुत अच्छे के बाद हम यहाँ पे होते कि नहीं होते, but वो हर शहर में हर गली में कोई एक आध होता है थोड़ा बहुत पागल, who kind of want to do change society. Okay, in fact, I just remembered मैं 10 साल के बाद इस्लामाबाद आया. So last time I think I came as soon as I arrived. We used to have this friend in Karachi called Sabia. So she was shot dead to Allah आज time करे. Karachi में खैरियत रहे. So there are these people. She was one of those people who wanted to kind of who thought like that you can have a place like this and bring in young people and then you can change society. So Baghi is like one of those characters. Yeah.
और अंग्रेज़ी को आपने किस अंदाज में इसमें एड्रेस किया है? आपको आज भी आपकी थोड़ा सा किताब से ऑफ जाके अपनी ऑब्जर्वेशंस भी अगर आप शेयर करें, डू यू स्टिल फील दैट इंग्लिश इज टेकन एज अ पर्सनैलिटी ट्रेट इवन नाउ, या थिंग्स हैव यू आर सीइंग डिफरेंट ट्रेंड्स नाउ?
I don't know. आप लोग बताएं. किताब मैंने अंग्रेजी में लिखी है तो मैं वो क्या कह सकता हूँ. But yeah, it's fascinating. I think अभी कुछ younger people kind of go through a different kind of education system. Where people my generation who went through a sarkari school system, they kind of went through like their mother tongue and then Urdu and then Angrezi. And I saw like people that I had like some really smart classmates, but they didn't go beyond a certain stage, but उनको कभी अंग्रेजी नहीं समझ आई कि ये अब क्या हो गया. Which is kind of shock to a lot of people's system. It is class based obviously. अगर आपके माँ बाप अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं तो आपको कोई मसला ही नहीं है. You sorted from the word go. But अगर वो नहीं बोलते हैं तो आप मतलब then you struggle. And वो सारी तालीम जो है, आला तालीम जो है या जो आला आइडियाज़ जो हैं आप लोगों के पास, वो सारे अंग्रेज़ी में पैदा होते हैं या बड़ी मुश्किल उर्दू में पैदा होते हैं जो हमें समझ नहीं आती बहुत सारे लोगों को जिनकी मादरी ज़ुबान उर्दू नहीं है. So I think I've struggled with that all my life, and I've seen like my contemporaries and kind of generations after that they have great ideas, they have kind of things to say, but they never know what language to कि वो किस ज़ुबान में बात करे. तो कभी कभी वो इस वजह से उनकी बात जो है वो सुनी नहीं जाती या गुम हो जाती है, बिकॉज they can never figure out कि हमने किस ज़ुबान में बात करनी है. अभी भी हम लोग मतलब पता नहीं कितनी ज़ुबानों में बात कर रहे हैं. तो मैं अभी मुझे किसी सियाने ने बताया था अभी रिसेंटली कि वो हमारे ज़माने में आई वेंट टू स्कूल इन अ विलेज, तो वहाँ पे मीडियम तो वो उर्दू ही होता है, लेकिन जो हमारे उस्ताद थे वो हमें उर्दू भी पंजाबी में पढ़ाते थे, राइट. सो बाय द टाइम यू गो टू क्लास 6 वो स्कूल में जाके वो प्रॉपर उर्दू वाले उस्ताद मिलते हैं, तो वो आपको अंग्रेजी पढ़ाना शुरू करते हैं उर्दू में. अच्छा, बाय द टाइम यू गेट टू कॉलेज तो वहाँ प्रॉपर अंग्रेजी वाले उस्ताद होते हैं. खासतौर पे अगर आप साइंसेस पढ़ रहे हैं या मतलब ह्यूमैनिटीज़ भी पढ़ रहे हैं तो सारी किताबें जो हैं वो फिजिक्स बायोलॉजी तो उर्दू में बहुत कम ही होती है. मैंने तो नहीं देखी. तो वहाँ जाके वो बंदा और भी कंफ्यूज हो जाता है। तो मुझे कोई कल ही वैसे बता रहा था कि ये हमारे साथ अजीब काम हुआ है, खासतौर पर ये हम लोग पंजाब के गांव से हैं कि भाई घर में माँ जो है वो पंजाबी बोलती है, स्कूल में अगर चले जाएँ सेक्शन में तो मिस उर्दू बोलती है, फिर आप कॉलेज में चले जाएँ तो वो प्रोफेसर साहब जो हैं वो अंग्रेजी में बात करते हैं, तो फिर हम मर जाएंगे, हमारा साहब अरबी में होगा। तो हम क्या सीखेंगे? तो किसी दोस्त ने कहा कि आपको कैसे पता कि अरबी में होगा, अगर वो चाइनीज में होगा तो फिर तुम क्या करोगे? So yeah, so we kind of live with all these confusions.
आपको पढ़ने वाले भी एक कंफ्यूजन के साथ रहते हैं, किताब आपकी हम अंग्रेजी में पढ़ते हैं, व्लॉग हम आपका पंजाबी में सुनते हैं। सो हमने दो इम्पोर्टेंट कैरेक्टर्स की बात की, कैप्टन गुल और बागी। दो मजीद और कैरेक्टर्स हैं, उस पर भी अगर आप रोशनी डालें। इन जनरल आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू व्हिच वन ऑफ दीज कैरेक्टर वाज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू राइट. There's Sabia, she's a athlete, a fugitive. There's Molly, who's actually given, he's basically a Maulvi and a religious person, but he's given that's the space for Rebel English Academy. Very interesting characters. So which one of these characters was difficult to write, or if you want to talk about these two?
ये आपने मुश्किल सवाल पूछा है, तो इसलिए मेरा ख्याल है किताब पढ़ के सुना देते हैं। तो आपके no, there is a character and I'm always kind of fascinated by kind of, I'm sure ऐसी जगहों पे जैसे लोग आते हैं उनको वो लिबरल टाइप कहते हैं, फेक लिबरल टाइप कहते हैं, उनको कहते हैं कि सारा मसला जो है मौलवी है, मौलवी इतनी तवज्जो आप लोगों को नहीं देते। मेरा ख्याल आप लोगों ने ऐसे ही काम कहा। तो जैसे आप लोग कोई लिबरल नॉन बिलीवर टाइप लोग जो हैं उन पे मुश्किल वक्त आता है तो उनको भी अल्लाह याद आ जाता है। तो वो जो हमारे मजहबी भाई हैं उनके लिए भी दुनिया की टेम्पटेशंस sort of they all exist, they kind of were tempted by power, by sex, by money, by वो सब लोगों की टेम्पटेशन होती है। तो मुझे इतना कोई फर्क नहीं लगता। मेरे ख्याल ये ऐसे जाली डिवाइड आप लोगों ने डाली हुई है। सो तो स्पेस तो मिलती है, मतलब मौलवी साहब ने उसको अंग्रेजी की एकेडमी दी हुई है, तो आपके हाफिज साहब ने भी आपको ब्लैक बोल दिया होगा, बोलते रहे। So it's like not it's not that so there is this young girl who's उसके because it's set in the 79 post after भुट्टो साहब को जब हैंग कर देते हैं, तो उसके बाद वो उसका कोई जिक्र नहीं है कि बाकी क्या होता है, लेकिन बाकी कुछ लोग होते हैं, छोटे छोटे लोग जो होते हैं, तो उनकी जिंदगियों में बड़े मसले पैदा हो जाते हैं। इट्स मोस्टली अबाउट देम। सो देयर इज दिस गर्ल उसके माँ बाप मुसीबत में आ जाते हैं, तो शी इज ऑन द रन, सो शी कम्स टू दिस academy to study English to improve her life. So she gets homework. आपको लोग जो भी स्कूल गए हम सब, आपको याद होगा that we were given essays to write, कि आप लिखें my best friend, my summer holiday, my हम सब ने लिखे हुए हैं। So वो जो उर्दू स्कूलों में या उसमें ट्यूशन सेंटर्स में होते थे, they used to be like quite basic. So through these her essays, her homework, she tells the story of her life. So that was difficult to write because as a man, especially as a middle-aged kind of old man, to take on the voice of a young girl is quite challenging, and kind of आपको लगता भी है even if you're allowed to do that or not allowed to do that. But so she writes these essays, so I'll read a little bit from her first essay, which is called Our Cow. आप लोगों को पता नहीं कभी इस तरह का essays लिखने के लिए गए थे या नहीं थे? Yeah, did you guys like? Yeah. Nice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, some of us, depending like on what school you went to, but you had like these essays, our best friend, summer holiday.
I am the oldest of all.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, because I went to a really good primary school, so we had to write a letter which is called something Radari, which was like that you're you're carrying like a cow or a buffalo from one city to another. So you have to write an accompanying note. I think it was called Radari. आप में से कोई बुजुर्ग मेरी उम्र का हो तो शायद उसको याद होगा. So in which you have to describe the animal that you were taking, like features. आपका ख्याल होगा कि सारी भैंसें एक जैसी होती हैं. ऐसा नहीं होता. ऐसा नहीं होता. ये सारी गायें एक जैसी होती हैं. So you to write her like defining features. You had to write the reason that you were transporting from one city to another, and then you had to give a pledge that you have not stolen it. So when I was writing this, because it was very difficult, so I remember that note that we used to write it, and I think writing a novel is, if any of you are interested in writing novels, is a bit like, transporting like a stolen cow from one city to another, but writing a note good enough that the person who's supposed to check will believe that इसने ठीक है. So I think that's the challenge. That's the most challenging part. So Sabia this is like Sabia's first essay that she writes for her tuition center. Our Cow, it's called. I humbly begin this script. जरूरी है तो ले लें. हम तो गाय की बात कर रहे हैं.
मेरा फोन नहीं.
I humbly begin this treatise in the name of most merciful and the most vengeful, creator of all things minor and major. Our English tutor, Salim Ahmed Salim alias Sir Baghi, has tasked me to write an essay about our cow. I can't write that the cow is Allah's splendorous creation because Sir does not believe in the existence of Almighty and His numerous manifestations. Although he knows and has taught us very many muscular words of English lingua franca, he doesn't know zilch about cow. He's a man with his abode in the city who gets his milk from a milkman, who gets it from a village milkman, who gets it from the owner of the cow. He wants us to write about cow without being cognizant of our cow, but I plan to write this treatise as well as others about essay topics as they manifest to my humble self, because when I've tried to bear witness to things as they manifest to men, they turn out to be not very propitious. I'm also in an advantageous position to write this because Sir Baghi has promised not to read them. It has to be expounded here and now that for a man who does not believe in God's word, Sir Baghi is a man of his word. It can be affirmed without an iota of doubt about our cow that it is a splendorous beast. It has curvaceous horns, and its udders are peace de resistance. The story of our cow begins on the night when I wake up from a plethora of dreams to a very heart-piercingly painful moo of our cow. There are 8 men huddled like ancient warriors around and on top of the cow. They are no warriors because I recognize them to be the fellow comrades of my very esteemed father, Comrade Abid Ali Abid, labor union leader at Satluj Cotton Mills. There is a little fire exuding light in the otherwise very dark and pitch black night. First, I am gobsmacked to see what are these men all making honest living from their sweat and blood at the cotton mills doing wrestling with the cow. Our cow is very restless under the collective gaze of these men. She knows that something inauspicious is going to manifest itself. Our cow is wise. People presume that water buffaloes, with their sage-like visage, are also wise, but they only have the intellect for fodder and cutting. When the ominous clouds cover the sky, our cow makes a moo sound. When her wondrous udders are full with her mother's milk, she also makes a moo cry. Well, this is not heavens are going to open and the moment has come to clear the washing line moo, but can somebody come and milk me moo? Our cow's progeny, a 4-month-old calf full of youthful vigor and innocence of the angels, is standing in a corner over a pile of nutritious green fodder. He is trying to partake from the pile, but alas, little does he know that they have put a plastic wire mesh muzzle on his mouth so that he cannot partake of his mother's milk every hour of the day, as youthful calves are desirous to do. A man, adorned in a brown shawl, who I assume to be Comrade Sadiq Ali Sadiq, wields an iron machete and is putting it in the fire to make it red hot. My heart sinks. Shudder after shudder runs through my spinal cord. My eyes well up with tears at having to witness the impending woos of the cow. The cow's moos are splitting my heart, but Mother Banu is sleeping beside me like a baby, clutching to one side of the bed. I shake her shoulder and wake her up. Coming out of her nightly dreams of falling off a cliff, she witnesses the scene with her famously beauteous but groggy eyes and misunderstands the situation like sleepy people do. They can't differentiate between the real life paradigm and a paradigm in their dreams. She comes to believe that her esteemed husband and his comrades are trying to commit proverbial slaughter of the cow. She rushes to our wood burning stove like an avenging angel, pulls out a log still burning, and runs to the men. Now there are two fires in the darkest night of our soul. One near the cow, Comrade Sadiq Ali Sadiq dipping a machete's iron face into it. The other one in my Mother Banu's hand. Everyone is mortified of Mother's furious forays into the cabal of men, even the night sky. Can Mother Banu take on the collective might of 8 comrades, vanguard warriors from the Sutlej Cotton Mills Labor Union single-handedly? Only time will tell.